Hello and welcome to the second part of our tutorial. Now that you have learned how to get your Shopbot ready and zeroed out, um, I'm going to teach you how to make your badge. We're going to learn two different types of cuts. And as you can see here, we're going to have our profile cut, which goes all the way through. And we're also going to learn how to do a pocket cut. This is an example of the badge that you will have to make in order to check out the Shopbot computer and be able to use this machine. So let's get started. Okay, so I have picked different pieces of wood here, and these are gonna be good for my prototype of badge. So each of these are going to have like different measures. So I'm gonna go ahead and measure out my material. So, okay, so this one, I'm actually gonna write down these measurements because we're gonna have to input this on our system later. So I'm gonna use a piece of paper to write those down. So, or like you can like type it up on your computer, whatever you like. So this one, it's about short of 8.5 inches by 6 and a little over a half. So we got like 8.5 by 6.5. So I'm gonna bring it on my notebook. So I'm gonna say 8.5 by 6.5. And then the next step is going to use the caliper to measure our material for our project, and you'll have to do this like on every step. I'm going to turn it on. I'm going to make sure that I'm in inches, and I'm going to measure my material. .478. 0.48. I'm gonna write that down. 0.480. Okay, we need 3 decimal numbers to be very precise. And you're gonna check out this caliper from the wood shop, and also go ahead and check out some ear protection because the machine is going to be loud. Okay, so we got our measurements and we're ready to start. Okay, my piece is really small. So in this particular case, I'm gonna secure the material using like some screws. Make sure that the screws are away from any of the tool paths where it goes down. And we're gonna like attach it to the baseboard. Okay, we're secure. Okay, now I'm gonna have to like move my tool path, my router in. So I'm gonna use the computer to move it. Okay, I'm gonna use this to move. I'm gonna move it out of the way. Okay. Now I'm going to secure my material. Okay, that is attached there on the wasteboard. Okay, so it is in there. Now we're here on our Shopbot computer, and we're going to start up vcarve. Vcarve is a vector editing program, and it accepts all kinds of vector information, but you can also use it to create um, paths that we will export to our Shopbot. When we create a new file, is the first thing that we want to do is to put out the measurements that we just got from our material. So I'm going to look in my notes. So this one, the width is 8.5. So I want to say 8.5. This is what we call imperial units. And then 6.5. Okay. And then the thickness is going to be 0.480 inches, and then the zero position is going to be on the material surface. Your 0 is, don't change it, it's going to be the bottom left corner, and we are ready to go. In material settings, you can actually choose like the different types of wood. um, so there are plenty of materials that you can pick from: metals, stone, miscellaneous, plastic would be acrylic, and I'm gonna go with the birch. Okay, I'm gonna click OK. So now my canvas is set up, and I want to create a badge, a pretty simple. Here we have like some simple shapes that I'm gonna try out. And for my badge, I'm going to try just like a simple circle. And actually, when you click on the circle here, you can like draw it like you would do in any program, or you can type in the radius. So the radius uh, of my badge, if my area is 8 by 6, then I'm going to do a 3-inch radius and then create. I'm gonna click once, and you can see how the object has been created. Here is my move tools. If you're unfamiliar with this program, I think like the most useful here is the move, the selection mode, and you can grab things from by using the transform tool, selecting and moving it to the center here of your material. I'm going to scale down my object a little bit because I want to have like more space, make sure that I have like enough clearance. So I'm going to scale it down just a tiny bit because my material, I like to have extra material like on the edges. So I have created that path. And also I'm going to add here my other path. First, we're going to start doing the profile cut, and then the other one is going to be a pocket cut. So in this particular case, I'm going to, draw a text, and this one, I'm going to use the letter B for badge. You can change the font, whatever like that, like whatever you like. I'm going to use something bold. I do like Franklin Gothic. That's a little bit too bulky though. Um, okay, let's try this one. And I can scale this later. Okay, let's try it. Let's go with this one. And now I'm gonna say close. And then with my transform tool, I can actually go ahead and like, make it like a little bit smaller or something like that. So this is gonna be my pocket cut. It's gonna be, if you look at your rulers, um, you get like a sense of like how big it is. And as you can see here, I have two paths. So if I click outside, my paths are not selected. I'm gonna create two different profile cuts for this. So first off, I'm gonna make my first toolpath. The toolpaths are, it is basically the code that is generated to cut. So you select the path and you're gonna go here to the right where it says toolpaths. And then here, like you have all the different types of cuts. Okay, so the two ones that I'm gonna teach you today for making the batch, and the one that you're gonna use in most cases is the profile toolpath and the pocket toolpath. So let's start with the profile toolpath. I'm gonna click. Your material can be also be set here. So I'm gonna click in profile toolpath and we can choose the depth of our toolpath here. And we want to like double check here that my cut is of the depth that I have previously selected. And as you can see here, there is a discrepancy here because my material, if I look at the bottom left corner, it says 0.48 and my cut depth is 469. This is not gonna go all the way through, so I gotta type in 0.48. And in the end mill, we're using the 1/4 inch bit. Right at this moment, you don't need to change this because if you do need to change the bit, you will need to ask for assistance. There will be another tutorial on how to change your bit, but your end mill should be the 1/4 inch bit, which is actually here already a default of our Shopbot, which is already optimized for this particular machine. So do not change the bit settings. I'm gonna go back to toolpaths, and then there are like different ways that you can cut. You can cut outside of your path. So consider if your bit is a 1/4 inch thickness. If you do it on the path, as you can see on this graphic, you'll notice that you will lose actually 1/8 of an inch of your design. So usually you want to click outside of your design so you keep your measures and your shape, your positive shape of the size that you designed it. So in this case, it would be outside, but sometimes you will want to do inside cut, an outside cut, or on the path. So those are like the three options. And the direction, I have it like as a default on climb, so we don't have to worry about this. But one thing that we do have to keep in mind is that when we create these profile toolpaths that go all the way through my material, I will have to create tabs. So the tabs are these attachments that are going to allow the router to stop before and will keep the piece attached to the material so the piece doesn't fly off when you're cutting. So I'm going to click add tabs to toolpath. Then I'm going to go to edit. And here you can like change the length and thickness of the tabs. You do not have to change this, but you can like actually type in a measurement of your tab, how long and how thick. I'm gonna go edit, and then I usually do 4 tabs, but sometimes depending on the complexity of your object, you're gonna need more tabs per shape. I'm gonna click add tabs. And as you can see, the tabs have been automatically added. I'm going to click close. And then my last step is going to be calculate. So I'm going to click calculate. And in this moment, it has generated the toolpath for that particular shape. And in this time, it actually switched to the 3D view that I can, um, you know, I can zoom in and out, and then using these interactive corner, I can move the mouse wheel and I can check what the simulates what the cut is going to be like and in my material, so we get like a visualization of how that looks like. And I'm going to zoom in here a little bit because I'm going to explain that there's two different types of lines. So for example, here, the red line means the router is moving in the X and Y axis, but the tool is up. Every time that you see the blue line, that means the cut. And then the cyan line means that the tool is actually the path which the tool is going down. Here we can actually see our tabs that have been generated. And then another thing that is interesting to see here is like how many passes does it need to go down to like actually cut through the whole material. This one is actually going to do 4 passes. So it's going to be the first, 2, 3, 4, and the fifth one is actually going to be the final that will cut out the shape. I'm going to go back here to toolpaths, and usually like you can visualize. I'm going to here like change the speed of my visualization, but I'm going to click play to run. And here it gives us like a simulation of how that is going to be, which I recommend checking out the simulation to double check that there's no errors, because this is exactly what the tool is going to do. You can speed it up, like if you have like a long project, you can speed up the simulation, and then here it shows you everything that has been completed. So I'm going to say close, and then here I'm going to go to 2D view. Actually, I had like an extra circle here. I'm going to delete that one. So just pay attention to that. Okay, so this one has already 2 paths. Right now, they're just not visible because I haven't selected them. I'm going to select this other path and I'm going to go to tool paths. Let me just move and get closer here. I can zoom in and out using the trackpad for zooming in. Or here, like we have some tools for zooming. I'm going to go back to tool paths. And then here, I'm going to choose on this path is going to be the pocket tool path. So the pocket tool path for this, it actually cuts all the way through. And then here, we want to choose our cut depth. I'm actually just going to do it 0.2 inches. It doesn't go all the way through. And I'm going to keep it on, it's a vector cut in, it's going to have 2 passes. You can add more passes, but I think like the defaults work really well with this machine. Now, here is showing us a visualization of how the cut path is going to work. It starts from the center and then out. We don't need tabs for this. And I'm going to say calculate. And then here I have my visualization. I'm going to click play. And this is how it looks. So because my vector is really small, it doesn't quite do the pocket cut correctly. So I'm gonna go back to my 2D view again. I actually did not calculate that profile. Yep, I did. I'm gonna redo that one. So if you ever have to redo a cut, go ahead and select it, right click on it, and say delete this. So that got rid of the toolpath. I did not, that was an unsuccessful pocket cut. I think it's because these areas are too thin. So what I'll do is me see if I can change maybe to the letter O. That could potentially work a little bit better. And maybe like something like a bolder text would work better, like this one. I'm gonna put it here in the center. That's why it's so important to like see the visualization before you actually do the cut, like just to make sure. This one has like an automatic snap to the center of the shape. I'm gonna click on toolpaths. And create a pocket toolpath again. And yep, 0.2 inches, calculate. And I'm gonna click play. That actually like did do a better job at cutting that out. This other path that you see here has not been, if I go to my toolpaths here, I have, if I check the profile, make sure that you check both boxes. Here, when you check them, you can see also where the toolpath and the direction of the toolpath of each of those. So I can go ahead and actually close this. And then having both toolpaths selected, I'm gonna click on this disk icon that also has like the bit design, and I'm gonna click Save Toolpath. And then here on machine, our machine, don't change it, is the desktop max. And then the post processor should be Shopbot TC Inch SBP. I'm gonna save that. And I'm gonna save it on a, I'm gonna call this one B badge. I'm gonna put it in my folder. And that's it. I'm done with generating my object. Okay, so now our material is secure, so I can close out my moving tool. And next, I'm going to click on the, I'm going to do the Z alignment. So for this purpose, I'm going to move my tool to the center of my piece of my scrap. This seems like a good place. Okay, I can close here. And now I'm going to do the Z alignment. So I'm going to set up my metal plate. And I'm going to attach to the collet. And I'm going to click OK because I'm ready. Okay, I'm ready to rock and roll. It's ready. And the next step is going to be removing and disconnecting the zero plate. I'm going to put that away. And now I'm going to click on the XY. the machine is zeroed out. And now we're gonna start our cut. Okay, so our next step is going to be loading the file that we just created. So I'm gonna click on File, Part File Load. And then I'm going to choose the B badge file. It only recognizes the SVP files that we just created. So I'm going to click Open. And then you are going to click Start. Okay, so you're just going to click here OK. Okay, so now we have completed our cut. I took it out and cut the tabs. So now my piece is free. You're gonna have to do some sanding to get rid of the tabs, but you can here see the quality of your pocket cut. Then your final step is going to be, having shop courtesy and cleaning up behind the messes that you left, cleaning up all the debris using a vacuum cleaner or a shop vac to clean up all the area and set up everything and put it away. So I hope that this is helpful. So you will submit your badge and demonstrate your skills using the Shopbot CNC. Thank you.